Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is O-Sheena. I'm going to be sharing all of the books that have been my favorite so far this year. So I try to do this every year, so I do have a couple for the past couple of years, so I wanted to continue on the tradition. My reading so far has been interesting. I haven't read as many favorite books as I'm used to. I usually read really great books and I just feel like it's been like fine, you know? I do keep track of my favorite books in my bullet journal. I've written down 8 so far this year. One of the 8 books on my list is a reread, but I'll just talk about it anyways. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there. So in January, I read Lulus Cafe for the first time and I was blown away. I didn't know what I was getting myself into because the cover makes it look like it's going to be a very lighthearted book, and it's definitely not. It starts off pretty intense and definitely triggering for some people, so definitely be aware of that. The triggers would be abuse and pregnancy things and stuff like that. So just so you know, it starts like right away with that. You follow this woman who is in an abusive marriage. The back doesn't even tell you that that's what's going on, so I do think it's important to know. So just be aware of that. But right away I was like, this is gonna be a deep book, because in my opinion, like, a book doesn't start off with something like that and not like use it for something really important. And it really was so beautiful the way this story unfolded. The woman finds her way to this cafe owned by a woman named Lulu, and Lulu kind of takes this woman under her wing and nurses her back to health, gives her a job, and she's trying to like build a new life for herself. And there is also a guy who helps Lulu kind of run this cafe, and he is a love interest. So it's a romance, but there's so much more going on. It is also a Christian book, so they are Christians. The girl isn't when the book starts, but she kind of has a journey of faith as well, and just kind of her journey of healing. It was beautiful. I was blown away by this book, and I loved it. So if you wouldn't be triggered by the things that I said, I would highly recommend it. I thought it was so good. Oh, I'm also only talking about fiction in this video, not nonfiction. I'll just save all my nonfiction for the end of the year videos, so yeah. And then the reread was Redeeming Love. I was really curious if I was going to like this the same way that I liked it when I first read it, and I really did. So that was a pleasant surprise. I'm really glad that I still love the story. It's just something about the redemption arc that Angel has that just speaks to me, and I love it. So I won't say much else, but yes, I do love this. If I have any videos that I have like specific reviews or even my wrap-ups, I'll just link a bunch of videos down below if you want to see more, because I did do a live show for this book where I discussed pretty in depth about it. So if you want to see that, I'll link it down below as well. But that's for January. My next favorite book was The Delusion by Gallier. I loved this book. I really did. I heard about it from Celestria's channel. It sounded really good because it's basically a young adult version of This Present Darkness. And so I was like, yes, please. And it really is very similar. I have talked in length a little bit about this book, but in case you haven't heard, it does follow a teenage boy, and he ends up drinking some water that allows him to see into the spiritual realm. And he's like looking around and seeing demons walking around and people with like chains and shackles all over them. And so he freaks out because he's not a Christian. He has no idea what any of this is. And he does end up making friends with this Christian girl who is like, dude, you're seeing demons, like, wow. And so they kind of team up, and there's like this mission that they have to go on. And it's like pretty large scale. Like, it gets as large scale as This Present Darkness goes. So I really loved it though. Like, the way that the author distinguished Christians and non-Christians, and how she used the shackles and the lights and the demons and the angels to like show good and evil. I loved it. Yeah, it was really good. I didn't love the other 2 books as much, but I would still highly recommend this book. Okay, on to March. So I read 2 books I would consider favorites in March. Then the first one is Rain Rain by Anne M. Martin. This book came out of nowhere. I only read it because someone recommended it to me because I said that I like The Babysitter's Club, which Anna Martin wrote, the Babysitter's Club series, and I loved it growing up, and I've never heard of this book, and then the subscriber recommended it. And so I was like, sure, okay, Anna Martin, yes, and it's a standalone. So I read it, and it follows this girl who has Asperger's, and the way that it's written, it's in her perspective, and it's just so beautiful. Loved the story too, like I really liked the plot, and yeah, I just really liked it. So I'd highly recommend it. Okay, but then, I didn't get this ready, but here we go. See, I want every book that I read to have this kind of reaction. This book, I loved it. And you already know, I've talked a lot about this book. I've hyped this author, I've hyped this book. It's so good, but you need to read this book first, okay? Because you just do, obviously. I mean, this is the first book. Really, yeah, it's a duology, okay? But this is the second book, and I loved it because the faith is so good, the romance is so good, the characters, the plot, everything. Yeah. You follow this guy who is a pastor, and then you follow this girl who rents a suite from him, and she is a single mom, and she is like a video editor or like a director kind of, but she's like not getting much work in that, so she's struggling kind of with money. There's that, and it's their romance, and it's so good, okay? Because it turns into a teen crisis intervention plot, because they both volunteer / work at like a crisis pregnancy center, and it's so beautiful, and the way that faith is woven into this, it's so good. So do it, okay? Read these books. They do look big, and they are, but they're epically amazing. So there you go. Favorite book for sure. Okay, and also in April, I read XOXO by Axie Oh, and this was really fun. Again, not an all-time favorite, but would recommend. It was just like fun and clean and nice to read. So I would recommend it. It is young adult, so you follow this teenager who ends up moving to South Korea. She gets into this like performing arts school, and a lot of like K-pop idols go to school there as well, and she makes friends with a bunch of them. She has a romance with one of them, and it's really cute. And you see a little bit, actually a lot, of South Korean culture, and I loved that part of it. Some language is used as well, like not swear words, but like Korean language. And it was really cool to see that. And I actually recognize some of it because I've like, you know, looked into Korean a little bit because I do like K-pop a lot. So yeah. Okay, and lastly, this is for sure a favorite book as well. The Art of Losing Yourself by Katie Ganshert. So random, and yet not, and yet I didn't expect this. So, this book was really good. The faith was so good, and like the storyline. So you follow these 2 sisters. It alternates perspectives pretty much always, I think. So you get their perspective, which is nice. One of the sisters is older, and she is married, and they can't get pregnant, and so be aware of that. It's definitely very described in the sense of her emotional state from that, so be aware of that. And then also the younger sister, she lives with their mom who is an alcoholic, and it's sad, and she ends up running away because of that. And she runs away to the town that her older sister lives in, but she's not going there to be with her older sister. She's like goes to this inn that is in their name and just kind of squats there. And then the older sister is informed, and so she gets the younger sister, sorry I don't say names, but they end up living together because someone has to take care of this girl who's still in high school. And you follow both of them and how they manage that, and it was just so beautiful. There is a slight little side romance with the younger sister and a boy, but like not even though. It's just like really nice. Yeah, it's like really nice. It's like really good. So yeah, this is like kind of a hidden gem, I would say. But when I showed it, like everyone was like, oh yeah, that's an amazing book. So I just was out of the loop, I guess. But yeah, those are all my favorite books so far. I hope you got some recommendations. I mean, all of these books I've talked a lot about because they're my favorite, so I recommend them all the time. But yeah, I just wanted one video where they all live. So thank you for watching, thank you for spending time with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. So for Friday, I haven't done bloopers at the end of videos in a while, so here's one. Dude. Yeah. If I was being ruthless, no. Okay, it's fine. I'm not being ruthless. And he, guess we'll just hold it. Okay. My next,